What's going on, everybody? So today we're taking a big dive into Queen City kayak bass fishing. This is the series that I'm entering this year. It's going to be a lot of tournaments, a lot of competition, but I thought it was important for you guys to know what it's all about. So, I'm Ken. This is my story. All right, what's going on, everybody? Ken with Kenthefishingstory here with Vinny Ferreri. Am I saying that right, Vinny?
You are, thank you.
All right, he is the commish of Queen City Kayak Bass Fishing, the biggest and bestest kayak bass fishing tournament on the East Coast over here. Vinny, I got to ask, man, how did this get started?
It started about 9 years ago now. A bunch of us were traveling to fish local grassroots series tournaments here in the Carolinas, and I decided we needed something here in the Charlotte area. So my wife and I sat down and I put some plans together, and it started pretty small, 20, 25 guys, and here we are now going into year 9 with a full-on expansion this season.
So when you started this, did you ever think that it would become this big?
No, I used to get that question all the time. What are your goals, or what are you going to do to grow this? And honestly, it was just about fishing. It wasn't. I had no intention of it turning into what it turned into. All of this has been a very natural growth expansion over the years. I haven't forced anything. It's all been for the angler. It's all grown with the anglers, and the sport itself has exploded over the years. So naturally, again, we just kind of grew with it.
Yeah, that's completely awesome. Yeah, I understand completely about it just exploding.
Yeah.
Not everybody can afford a boat, but I mean, a lot of people can get out there in a kayak.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So you have some sponsors. That's pretty cool. You want to talk about that?
Sure. I mean, we're surrounded by great support. The series itself is brought to you by Native Watercraft. So if you're out there searching for a boat, I'm going to highly suggest you take a look at Native Watercraft. They're built here in the USA and actually built right here in North Carolina. So I personally live right in South Carolina, but I'd like to say I represent both states. I work in North Carolina and I live in South Carolina. And Native Watercraft is 2 hours up the road. They're building your hulls right there on site. So they are our premier sponsor. And then we have what we call a title sponsor per event. And we'll just talk about event 1 since that's right around the corner here. And that's Todd Sides Realtor with Austin Barnett. And Todd's been around for 3 years. He loves the Lake Norman event. He lives near Lake Norman. He does his work up by Lake Norman. So Todd is the presenting sponsor of that event. And then this season, it was a big push for us to expand. We were pushing lake limits and pushing event limits with 150, 200 angler fields. So we added 2 other divisions. We think the Southern Division is going to be tremendous down in South Carolina. And we also added a Western Division in the mountains of North Carolina to give those guys an opportunity to compete. And if they want to make a few trips to Charlotte a year, they'll have an opportunity to make it to the championship. So me speaking honestly, I'm a little unsure how big or small the Western Division is going to be, but the sponsor, Big Adventure, said let's go for it and see what happens. So we're going to give them a year, and we're going to see.
That's awesome, man. That really is. I personally am excited to be here. It's going to be my first year. It's going to be my rookie debut into Queen City kayak bass fishing. I personally started last year. I got my first kayak and just started learning what bass fishing was all about. And yeah, it's hook, line, and sinker, man. I am totally hooked.
Absolutely.
Ready to go.
I want to welcome you to the sport. I want to welcome you to Queen City. I want to welcome you to this road that I don't travel down much of the YouTubing. I know this is your big push for 2023, and I'm glad that Queen City is going to be your platform where you grow through. So I'm excited to see how you do on the water, how you enjoy your first live weigh-in here in a few weeks. And I'm looking forward to see what your year looks like.
You had your first Expo this year, man. What was that like?
Yeah, the Expo, man. I turned around and you were standing in the booth or right by the booth, and I was like, "Who is this guy in the booth?" And you were like, "It's Ken." And I had a lot going on. It ended up being a huge success, and I know there are people who are going to watch this and be like, yeah, that's what Vinny always says. But I really didn't know what to expect. So when you open the doors and you have over 200 people, some that you know, some you've never seen, some fish with you, some that have never kayak fished ever, they just were like, I saw your post and I showed up. It was absolutely phenomenal. And I would like to say we're planning on doing it again next season. But we're very far out from that right now. So one day at a time.
Not just a lot of people. You had a lot of people before the doors even opened. Like,
yeah.
You came in and it was just, there was people everywhere, and it's not even 2:00.
Well, yeah. So take it even earlier than that. I pulled up at 11:45, and there were 3 sponsors sitting outside the door, and I told everybody to pull up at 12. So I got there. Typical. I'm a believer that if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. So I get there at 11:45. There's guys texting me, "Hey, we're already here. How do we get in?" And I'm like, "Dude, I can't even get in yet. Like, we got to chill out for a minute." So yeah, the expo wasn't about me. It was one day where it really wasn't even about fishing. It was about showing off the people who make Queen City what it is. And if you were in the building like you were, you got a chance to meet about 23 local business owners or representatives of their company under one roof in a matter of a 15-minute walk around the room. So it was great exposure for community members to come in and see their local business people. And it was great exposure for them to have 200 people walk up to their table with, minimal effort of out and advertising. And then on top of that, you could buy stuff, and we had baits, and we had soft plastics, and we had cushions, and we had cups and hoodies and hats, and we had rulers, and then we had Bryson West doing the jig flipping, donating to Emerald School of Excellence. Like, we had dogs in the room. We were dog friendly. We had Gas House building a rod in the corner. We had seminars from people who are in contact with the anglers in the state. Like, Mark's been around for at least 2 years with us. Mark is on my Queen City team. A lot of people, if they don't pay attention, they don't know that. Mark's in the shadows a little bit, but he's part of the team here at Queen City. Chris Goodwin has been one of the best anglers in the Carolinas for 4 years now, maybe 5 years running. He gave a seminar. John Ladd has been at all levels of angling, from professional bass boat world to Queen City champion, and he gave a seminar. And then we had local to Carolina, John Martin, a jig, buzzbait, spinnerbait builder with True South Custom Lures. He gave a seminar. So it was, I was in awe, and I put the thing on, and it was really cool, in my opinion. And I think you had a good time as well.
Oh yeah. I had a good time. It was a great time. I came in. I had to leave before I threw my wallet at people. That was just, it was, I think I was there, maybe an hour and a half. And I was like, if I do not get out of here, I'm going to buy this entire place. So, all right. So let's talk about last year's series. So I understand we had a Tournament of Champions winner. And there's a lot of other people just like me out there, on the kayaks, fishing the series, filming themselves, putting it on YouTube. So let's take a look at what got the show. All right, so yeah, let's talk about those guys.
So yeah, we have a great group of guys here. We do have a handful who film every adventure they do. We have Kinley and Lauren Martin filming from the mountains. We have Hambone, Graham Ray filming here in Charlotte. We have Hook Sets with Ryan. That's with Wifey. We have Gustavo does a little bit of filming. Who am I missing? I know I got to be missing somebody, but
you got
Wes and Bryce
yep.
and Wes fishing are filming now. Ryan Brenneman,
Realm of Fear.
Ryan. What Realm of Fear is doing some filming. So there's a lot of guys putting their touch on Queen City and showing different perspectives every month, and I think that's really cool. Ryan Brenneman, Hook Sets with Ryan, is our YouTuber, again, part of the Queen City team. He accepts content from anglers every month. He builds one YouTube video of the tournament every month, and then we also post up the live weigh-in on the YouTube channel as well. So if you're not following Queen City Kayak Bass Fishing on YouTube, feel free to jump over there, give us a nice little click and a thumbs up.
Subscribe, hit the like button, ring the bell, and be notified every time a video drops for Queen City. See all that kayak fishing action. So, Vinny, Lake Norman, Event 1. I'm like I've said before, I'm excited. I've done the homework. It seems like it's going to be a really tough competition. I heard up to 73 inches is going to be required to even come close to placing this year.
I wouldn't say to placing. We are a club that pays out what we call 10% plus 2. So let's just say we have 150, because I think that's about where we're going to land. That means the top 17 guys are going to cut a check. So 10% would be 15. And then we do a standard $100 for 16th place. And then we do a kind of almost made it 17th place. And we give that angler a free entry into next month's event. So if you've been looking at the payout scale and you're browsing the pages and you see free on there, that's a free entry into the next event. So I would say to cut a check on Lake Norman, you probably going to want to be 65 plus. I would say to win it, you're going to have to be 75 plus. And those numbers are pretty standard for any tournament we fish. A little bigger on Santee, but pretty standard for most of our events.
Okay. So last but not least, what advice do you have for the rookie guy? What you got?
I would just say stick with what you feel good with. Don't come out on game day and decide this is a day you're going to try 15 different lures. Your first event in a new series, honestly, if you catch a limit, that has to be some sort of success. It's only a 4-fish limit. So I tell anglers it's just 4 bites. Don't get in your head. Go catch 4 fish. Throw what you know they're going to bite. And do your practice and your homework Monday through Friday and stick with what you know on Saturday.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you coming out, Vinny. This was very informative. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me. I look forward to seeing you in Mooresville for Lake Norman on February 4th. And then hopefully I see you at all 18 Queen City events we're going to do this year between the 3 schedules. So